Have you ever wondered what it really takes to bring a huge idea to life? I mean, from launching a brand new app to organizing a world tour for a band, it all comes down to project management. But, it's not some kind of dark art. It's actually more like a practical toolkit just filled with specific tools for solving very specific problems. So let's open up this toolkit and see what's inside.
So what's actually in this toolkit we're talking about? It's definitely not just about boring schedules and budgets. It's really a collection of frameworks and metrics and strategies for managing the most complex thing of all, people trying to build something new together.
So for this explainer, we're going to open up this toolkit one tray at a time. We'll kick things off with the human element. Then we'll dive into managing uncertainty, take a look at the metrics that actually matter, and then figure out how to define the solution in the first place. And we'll wrap it all up with one final, pretty important question.
Okay, first up, probably the most important tray in the whole entire kit, the tools for working with people. Because let's be real, no project, no matter how technical it is, succeeds if you don't understand what makes your team and your stakeholders tick.
Now this is super interesting. It's Hertzberg's two-factor theory, and it basically splits motivation into two completely separate categories. On one side, you have hygiene factors, like your salary. If these are bad, people are unhappy. Simple enough. But here's the key. Making them good doesn't automatically make people motivated. For that, you need the other side, satisfiers, stuff like recognition and doing meaningful work.
And this visual just nails the point. See, you're not just moving a single slider from sad to happy. You're actually managing two totally different scales. A great project manager knows they have to get rid of the dissatisfiers while at the same time actively building up the motivators. One without the other, it just doesn't work. So how on earth do you keep track of all the people involved? Well, with a tool that looks a lot like this, the stakeholder register. And it's not just a list of names, okay? It's a map. It helps you understand what everyone's interests are, their level of influence, and what they actually want out of the project. This thing is basically your guide for who to talk to and what to say. All right, let's move on to the next tray. Now we're getting into the tools for navigating the fog that comes with any project, uncertainty. This is all about having solid communication systems and a really smart approach to risk.
They say project managers spend something like 90% of their time just communicating. But not all communication is created equal. You've got to have a strategy. Push communication, that's like sending out a critical status report email. It's for information people have to see. Pull communication is more like a shared project folder. The info is there for them to access whenever they need it. Using the right one is the key to not drowning your team in emails.
So when we hear the word risk, we almost always think of something bad, right? But in project management, risk is neutral. It's just uncertainty. A risk can be a negative threat, like, say, a key supplier going out of business, but it can also be a positive opportunity, like a new piece of technology comes out that could speed everything up. You have to plan for both.
So when a negative threat pops up on the horizon, what do? You don't just cross your fingers and hope for the best. No, you've got a playbook. You can try to avoid it completely, maybe transfer it by getting insurance. You could mitigate it to lessen its impact, or if it's small enough, just accept it. Or if it's too big for you, you escalate it to someone with more authority. All right, time to open the third tray. This is where we find the measuring tapes and the calculators for our toolkit. These are the tools that let us answer two really simple but absolutely critical questions. Are we on schedule and are we on budget? To understand where we are right now, first we have to know where we planned to be. That's called planned value, or PV. Think of it as the baseline. If we plan to get $10,000 worth of work done by Friday, then on Friday, our planned value is 10 grand. Easy as that. Next up is earned value, or EV. Now this one is crucial. It's the value of the work we've actually finished. So if Friday rolls around and we only got $8,000 worth of that planned work done, our earned value is $8,000. This tells us what we really got for our efforts so far. And finally, we've got actual cost, or AC. This is the simplest of the three. It's the actual, real amount of money we've spent. So if it cost us $9,000 to get that $8,000 of earned value, well, we can see pretty quickly that we have a problem. Comparing PV, EV, and AC gives you this incredibly powerful, real-time picture of your project's health.
But all that data can be looked at in two different ways. You've got lagging indicators like our project's cost so far, which tell us about what's already happened. Then you have leading indicators, which help us predict what's coming next. And you absolutely 100% need both.
And this car metaphor is just perfect. The rearview mirror, it's pretty small, right? That's your lagging indicator, showing you where you've been. But the giant windshield in front of you, that's your leading indicator. And that is where your focus needs to be. Great project managers use data from the past to help them navigate the road that's right in front of them.
All right, on to our final tray. This one is all about getting crystal clear. Before you can build anything, you have to know what you're building and, more importantly, why. These are the tools of the business analyst, who is pretty much a project manager's best friend.
So, how do you figure out what people actually need? You use what are called elicitation techniques, which is really just a fancy way of saying gathering information. You can run workshops, do interviews, just observe people at their jobs, or even build a quick prototype. The whole point is to stop assuming things and start getting real clarity to make sure that what you build is what people actually want and need. Once you've got all those requirements, you've got to organize them somehow. A feature model is an amazing tool for this. It takes a big idea like browse tours on a website and breaks it down into a logical, step-by-step hierarchy. This helps everyone, from the developers to the CEO, see how all the little pieces of the puzzle actually fit together.
And what if you're trying to solve a problem? A cause and effect diagram, which folks sometimes call a fishbone diagram, helps you trace a problem all the way back to its root causes. As you can see here, customer complaints about pizza delivery aren't just about one thing. They could be coming from issues with people, equipment, processes, you name it. This tool helps you fix the actual disease, not just the symptoms.
So, we've looked through the whole toolkit. We've got tools for people, tools for risk, tools for measurement, and tools for definition. It's quite the collection, isn't it? Which brings us to the ultimate question. Is it an art that relies on intuition and skill to manage people, or is it a science driven by hard data, metrics, and processes? Well, the truth is, it's about mastering both. The best project managers know exactly which tool to pull from the kit, but they also have the wisdom to know how and when to use it. And that right there is the real secret.